Hi, my name is Chris Tan. I've just written a book. It's called Turning Green. Now, a lot of people ask me why turning green. Well, due to the profession that I'm in, I'm advising always in the waste management industry as well as the real estate industry. A lot of people ask me that, is it a book about green building index? Is it a book about recovery, conservatories, and recycling? So I say to them that no, because today the green agenda is very much concerned itself with the hardware part or the hardcore part of the whole thing. Because for example, whether you're driving a hybrid car, whether the food that you eat have too big a carbon footprint, or is your house energy efficient? But we're not talking on all that, because I think that there is an area of the whole green agenda where we all neglect, which is the softer part. What about the relationship that you have with everything that's important in your life? With your team, with your spouse, your parents, your siblings, and the one that often the people in the East, the Oriental, the Asian, like to neglect a lot is the relationship with yourself. Is it one of convenience or it is one of sustainable? When you say green, it needs to be sustainable. Now, most of the time, we like to put ourselves last instead of ourselves first. And as a result, we always give whatever that's left over to ourselves, that it is not sustainable, right? So therefore, when people ask me what's Turning Green all about, I tell them it's environmental, and not really what you think about the green agenda today. Well, here's a few ideas that I've incorporated in the design of the book. For example, this look like a playing cards, right? So this look at playing cards is like a stack of playing cards. So I say to you, life is like a game of playing cards. Now, how is that so? Because it is how you deal with the card in your hand. And it is also how and in what name is the game that you're playing. For example, if you're playing poker, there are 5 cards. If you're playing baccarat, there are different rules, different name of the game. So in this sense, Turning Green is my sharing with you is how do I deal with the card in my hand. Well, Bill Gates always tell you life is not fair and accept it, but he never offer you any explanation. As for here, I explain to you that life is not fair because our finishing line is different. Now let's take it to another level. Life is not fair because our starting line is different. So everyone have a different card, that's the starting line. What is the ending? What is the finishing line depends on the name of the game. You might have the best card in your hand, but you can still lose the game. You can have the worst card in your hand, and yet you're not almost guaranteed not to fail, depend how you use the card. So Turning Green is me sharing with you how do I deal with the card in my hand. I'm sure it is not all rosy. If it is all rosy, for all intents and purposes, there's nothing to write and share. Now here's your next card, if you're ready. Congratulations, you have a blackjack, yeah? But have you just won the game? The answer is no, depends which game have you played. If you are playing pokers, there's 3 more cards, you're not even halfway there. Well, the second metaphor is a little bit more easy. Now, in order to read the book, you must be first out of the box. If you are in the box, you can't read. It's simpler that you have to think outside the box, act outside the box. The third design metaphor that I've incorporated in this book is the idea of comfort zone. Now, we all have a comfort zone. You have a comfort zone, I have a comfort zone. We don't like to step out of comfort zone normally for 2 reasons. Number 1 is fear of uncertainty. You have no confidence to deal with what's outside. Number 2 is in your zone, you're too comfortable. You become complacent. When you're complacent, then you also think that the boundary of your comfort zone is keeping you hard locked in your zone. Now, is that so? Now, here's the metaphor. This is you. This is your zone. Now, when you're fully in your zone, this is your zone, you see, it's very tough. Yeah? The moment you walk out, it becomes weak and become weaker. And if you can see, the zone on your own is really, really flimsy and weak, right? So the metaphor is this. The strength and the shape of your zone is actually determined by you. You're the one who gives strength to it, therefore it's tough now. You're the one who even gives the shape to your zone. So if you grow bigger, your zone will grow bigger. If you shrink, the zone will shrink with you. So it is entirely your call. Now the fourth metaphor that I want to explain to you is the word green. A lot of people ask me, Chris, why everything about you is green and it's not any other color? So my answer to you is very, very simple. Because I think that most of us are too close to the red that happens in our life. What is red? Red can be at 2 extremes. One extreme is about beauty. You know, when you have something so attractive, it stops you. You want to stay there and admire the beauty of the red. Yeah. While the other extreme is that red is also means danger. It also stops you from moving on because you are lost. You don't know there to take the next step. Therefore, red is a perceived problem, a perception of emotions, and perception of issue that you have to deal with. And most of the time, we are too close. When you are too close with it, what you can see is only the color. You can't see me, right? Now, the moment you step back, when you step against the whole thing, you can see there are other things around the object. So what it means is, look for the green around the red, make the red smaller, and keep moving, because green is the color that keeps you going. Alright? Then the next one is the word turning. This is the most interesting metaphor that I would like to share with you. Now, look at this card. Can you tell me where is the head, where's the tail, where's the upside, where's the downside? Can it be placed this way? Yes. Can it be placed this way? Yes. Right? Now let's turn it around. Where is the head, where's the tail? Well, you can't really tell because there's two heads, there's no tail. So it means that I can flip it like that. Is it still okay? The answer is yes. And again, can it be like that? The answer is again okay, right? So if I ask you one more thing, is this the back of the card or the front of the card? Which one is the front of the card? Now you deliberate for a while, then you would tell me this is the face of the card, this is the back of the card. But if I place it on the table like that, we are in the game. Now let's see, you will say to me, Chris, I want to know what's at the back of your card, right? So this becomes the back and this becomes the front. The point is that when you are not 100% sure, you can't really tell which is the front, which is the back. Again, this is a metaphor to say that no matter how I turn this book, it's still alright. You won't say something like, Chris, you have misplaced it and it's upside down, right? No chance. Now let's see. If I open the book, can you still tell? The answer is no, it's still the same card. Over here, can you still tell? You say, yes, Chris. Let's see. This is the head, this is the tail, right? Let's pick up the page. You see, it's the other way around. So when I read the book, it's fine with me. Yeah, you see that? But when you take a look at this, you probably do not agree because the word is written upside down. Now, if you take a look at it, this is actually what very resembling of life. Now you know what you are doing, you know what you are reading, but not everyone endorses you from the outside. When you're reading, people are curious whether you know what you are doing. Yes? But there are people who would agree with you because of the A, which is flipped one side up, alright? And the fact that the barcode cannot be on the front page of anything, should be at the back. So if you take it that is the norm, then there might be people who actually adore you. Now in that sense, you don't need to win the world, you only need to win the fans, right? In that sense, this is like life. And when I give you the turning metaphor, no matter what you turn, how you turn, there is no right or wrong. Now that's the message I'm going to give you to you. There's no right or wrong, there's only accumulations of experience. When there's accumulation of experience, what I'm trying to tell you is that new benchmark and new parameter is set every time you have a new experience. Now just ask yourself, there are things that you think it is wrong since you are young, but things could have changed. Now can be a little bit more palatable to you, right? And acceptable. There are things that you think is absolutely right, today you are questioning it. Now why is that so? Because your experience changed your perception of things, right? It's accumulation of experience. Now experience can be accumulated by two ways. One is by yourself, number two is getting from the trusted source. For example, you admire a guru, you admire Confucius, for example, and what he said could be the truth or experience that you can accept, alright? Now these are the general norms or people that you respect generally. So there's two ways to accumulate experience. Now what is this turning also tell you and suggest to you is there are many ways to skin a cat. You've never seen a book written in this way before, right? Now in this sense, from today onward, you can accept that a book can be written in this manner, yeah? So if there's many ways to skin a cat, my solution to you is always come up with a new one, yeah? Now this book is written in this manner. It's chapter by chapters. You look at this is written in July 2008, and every month there is an entry into the book. Now when there is a monthly entry into the book, what happens is that you have a looking back sessions. When we compile the book, I actually do a review of the entry. You know, so the idea is from this 38th chapter, you can pick up any chapter and start reading it, and you don't have to start from chapter 1 to chapter 38. You can pick any one and start reading. Now, the key story that links the whole book together is the story of the blind man and the elephant. Have you heard of it? It is actually a Hindu tale that share about 5 blind men all touch an elephant or the same elephant in the same day for the first time in their life. And after that, they had a dispute. They sit together and they have an argument. The first blind man said, who touched the tail and said, "Oh, my elephant is like a piece of rope." Okay, the second blind man said, "No, I don't agree with you. My elephant is like a pillar." Okay, because the pillar is the leg that he holds. The third one said, "I don't agree with either one of you because the whole elephant is like a piece of wall. I can't get through. It's so thick and so strong." Obviously, he touched the body. Then the fourth blind man said, "No, I don't agree with you. Actually, elephant is a cousin of the snake." How is that so? Because he touched the trunk. Yeah. And then the last elephant said, "I don't agree with any one of you because the elephant is like a fan. He touched the ears." Okay. So for all intents and purposes, have they all touched the elephant? The answer is yes. Have they all touched the same elephant? The answer is also yes. Then how come they have different conclusions? That's because they touch a different part. Now, I used to take it as a story, but the message behind that is very clear. Sharing is very important, including having an argument, right? Because if you share, you learn at the same time. Can you imagine what is the danger of all these blind men all go back having touched the elephant of the first time? If you are the first blind man, you always think that an elephant is always like a rope, which you touch the tail. And if you touch any other part, alright, you will tell yourself you have not touched an elephant. Okay, so that's the first metaphor. The second issue out of this message is here, just to let you know, if you want to be happy or you want to be sad is entirely determined by you. Remember, if you are the first blind man, if you say, "I want to touch the elephant again," today you touch the trunk instead of the tail. So what will happen? You can be sad because you say, "I have not touched an elephant." Yes, because that's not the experience that you have actually done before. Number two, is that you can be happy because you can borrow the experience of one of the blind men who touched the trunk that day. So you can be happy. So the idea is this: don't be trapped by your own experience. Let's be big enough and try to experience the life as big as whole piece, meal basis as possible. In that sense, that's why I write this book. I am one of the blind men. This is my elephant. So I hope that if you can read this elephant, I can let you have a look with my elephant. I want to, in exchange, know what your elephant is. Please allow me to peep in to your elephant.